there's so there's so much poop, there's a lot of poop going on in our world. Lots of poop. And while I'm sure each of us would put different things in this poop category, one thing remains the same for all of us. We're all here and we're all in it together. And you, all of you, are what make this place so special. Welcome back to Vibes and Frequencies. My name is Nathan Lindsay, host of Vibes and Frequencies. And in this episode, we're going to be sharing a transmission of energy. It's not about the words, it's about the vibe, it's about the feeling. So I encourage anybody who finds themselves here and having had resonated with this episode to completely let go of the words. Don't try to understand anything. Don't think about anything being said. Allow yourself to just be here and feel the energy. So this transmission is called Life is Good. Life is oh so good. Some things in my life have happened that were very challenging. Moments in time I wished would always just end and be over. But now that I've got some distance from them, as in actual time, years have gone by, months have gone by, it's clear that all these things that happened that were so challenging and such a struggle, things I really wanted to just end and not be happening anymore, it's clear now that they were happening for me. There's so much poop in the world. There's so many things that take place that we can clearly see and say that this is bad, this is wrong. Take racism, for example. Take the fact that we had slaves back in the day. That's bad. I think we could all say that's bad and honestly feel that. Now I'll say something very controversial. Yes, it was bad. But isn't everything perfect? On this higher level, everything that's ever happened has led to the next part of the story unfolding. Everything has been the flower blooming. Everything has been the flower opening up to receive the sun, to receive the light. There's this beautiful, beautiful music. And this is something my friend Peter brought up with me that I was like, wow, good point, Peter. And Peter said, the gospel music, there's so much profound energy. It's so beautiful. It's so blissful. And that came from the slaves who were being oppressed. That there's so much powerful energy that exists in that music still today. So how could something that's so wrong and so bad blossom fruits of some of the most magnificent energy that exists on our planet here today? Perhaps it's because we don't know what is good or bad. Perhaps it's because we have a certain idea that we can look at things and we can say, well, yes, this is genuinely wrong. We should be better to each other. But all of these understandings are taking place on the ego level, of the trying to understand, of the thinking that we know. But everything that's happening just is happening. And it's perfect. And there's this magnificent space in a fully present moment that is received within you, where it becomes extremely clear that there is no bad in the world. There is no wrong. There is no right. And there is no good. Now, the important distinction to be made here is that, yeah, there's a lot of poop in our world that should be changed. But when we approach this change, when we approach the things that we dislike in our reality, there are two ways that we can approach them. The first approach to wanting to change something in our world, to better it, for instance, the first approach to doing this is to simply come at it as, this is wrong, we need to change it right now, we need to be against this, we need to move it, we need to create all these systems to help to dissolve this previous one, so on and so forth. And this is the approach that many of us are taking in our lives. This needs to be changed, therefore I'm going to do this to change it. When we do this, we create so much resistance, and what we're actually doing unconsciously is adding pain and suffering on top of it. I highly recommend that you scroll below at the end of this video and investigate further into our Vibes and Frequencies Akashic Dimension Records series, specifically talking about episode 3, which is all about this momentum and how we add on to the pain and suffering unconsciously without realizing it. Now, I also recommend at the end of this video checking out the series on being fully present. It's the Fully Presence series. Highly recommend checking that one out, because this is what will help us to feel into the energy of this space within us, of feeling that everything is perfect. So yes, there are these two ways to come at changing something, because there are things that deserve change in this world. But when we come at them with this energy of, we need to change this, this is wrong, we're actually making it worse in a way that will become very clear in a fully present moment state. But when we approach the things that require change, not with the feeling that this is wrong and it needs to be changed, but with the energy of everything is perfect, and that's where the change blossoms from. So not coming at something that needs to be changed with, this is messed up, it needs to change, but coming at the change with, everything is perfect. You see the difference in this energy. This is where healing really takes place. This is where the blossoming happens. This is where life is good makes itself fully known within us. It's incredible. And you know, life is good. It's freaking fantastic. Yes, there's pain and suffering in the world, but it all comes from not being here in the present moment. Again, check out the Fully Present series. The pain and suffering comes from one place and one place only. Our definition of it being wrong and not okay. Yes, there are starving children in Africa, and we can argue that no, everything is not perfect. Nathan, isn't this wrong? Doesn't this need to be changed? Well, sure. But it's perfect. Everything is perfect. That's the energy to come at it with. Yes, let's help to feed these children in Africa. Let's get to the root of what is creating these problems in the first place. And all of the root of these problems, when you really, really allow it to make itself known to you, is because we're coming at the world with thinking that it isn't perfect, thinking that it needs change, thinking that we need to imprint ourselves upon the situation, that we need to create a momentum. But life is good. Everything is perfect. You know, right now I am at my parents' house in LA, which I always hated. I always hated LA. And for many of you who bared witness to my whole shadow work series that took place for about a little bit less than a month here on the Vibes and Frequencies channel, it's clear to many that I really was struggling here in Los Angeles. But here I am again. And it feels amazing to be here. It feels because I'm not coming at this LA experience with that it needs to be changed, or that I need to not be here, or that there's something wrong here, or that there's a dark cloud here, or that there's oppression, or that people are confused here, or that people are asleep here. I come at it with no definition, without any understanding of the situation at all, without feeling the need for anything to be changed, but coming at it and being in this space with everything is perfect, because it is. And there's no problems here. There is, on a certain level, that we can see. But these problems will never be changed or healed when we look at them as problems. But the moment we see them as being perfect seeds blooming creation, it's a very different space to be in. Life is good. And there's been times where it felt like it wasn't. But now that I've got some distance, it's clear that all of those things were perfect. All of the best parts about myself, personally, my human, all the best parts have come from these moments in time that I felt everything was wrong and was a problem. And eventually, the pressure caused me to crack and break and bloom into who I really am. And it's interesting, you know? It's really interesting. Everything has always been perfect. And it's clear that all of my pain and suffering always came from one simple place. Me thinking that what is happening right now in the present moment needs to be changed or shouldn't be happening. Or thinking that something more needed to be here. That's where the pain and suffering came from. In truth, everything was always perfect. The pain and suffering was my own hallucination of getting in the way of the bliss, of the magic of reality. I mean, frick. I had a beautiful, beautiful, amazing job as a waiter. I loved it. It meant everything to me. Suddenly, I all of a sudden felt that there was all this pain and suffering there. That there was something more in the world out there for me. And so I left on a 2-year mission to find this more. And it turns out that everything I was looking for is the one who is looking. There was never anything more out there for me to get. All of the more I was looking for was right here. But I couldn't see it because I was hallucinating my own pain and suffering. And now at this point, everything is clearly so perfect, I don't care. I'll go be a waiter. I'll go drive a trash truck. I could sit in LA around a bunch of this energy that I always thought was a problem because it's all perfect. And now I can appreciate it. So I'm curious to hear from you. Has there ever been a problem in your life, some kind of situation that was a struggle, but years later, maybe 10, maybe 15, maybe 2, maybe just a month later, you could see clearly, wow, this moment was actually a gift. This really is one of the most powerful times of transformation in my life. If you don't mind sharing, I would love to hear from you. So the last thing to draw attention to here is that when we get a bit of distance from these problems, suddenly it becomes more clear that it wasn't a problem. Why is this? It's because we're no longer attached to the outcome because it's already passed. We've got a distance from it. We've released that attachment. It's already done. It's happened, right? It just is the way that it is. There's no need for us to come at it and try to change it. There's no need. What if it didn't take 10 years? What if it didn't take a month? What if it didn't take a day? What if it didn't even take 20 minutes? What if that distance didn't have to be time, but just you having some distance from the situations happening in your life? Rather than believing that you are the one who must control everything in the situation, that all the change needs to come from you, that anything needs to be different than it is at all. Instead, just have some distance from the situation. Watch the situation happen. Bear witness to it. and we will see extremely clearly that there are no problems in the world. Everything is perfect, and all of the change that we've been waiting for is right here, right now. And it's not the energy of I need to change the situation. It's the energy of surrender to the situation because it's motherfucking perfect. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Nathan Lindsay. If you like this episode, definitely make sure to scroll below, like, drop a comment below, subscribe. More episodes coming. Thank you so much. See you for the next episode.